Good morning. My name is Tom. I come to you from the Rustic log cabin from the great state of Maine. Get yourself a cup of coffee. I'm back in that fire series, Woodsman Strong Fire Skills, as well as I've added another series because of a subscriber that said he really liked the name Fun with Fire. So we're going to kind of marry the two together, and so check out the playlist Fun with Fire and Woodsman Strong Fire Skills. There's going to be all kinds of skills in the Woodsman Strong Fire Skills as far as how I look at being a woodsman and all of that. A little different than everybody else, especially when it comes to the internet and all of that good sound advice coming from very inexperienced people 90% of the time. That's probably the best way I can put it today. Anyways, have yourself a cup of coffee. Now that we got the stepping on toes out of the way, the reason I put it that way is because most of the crap that you see being shuffled on the internet is stuff that'll get you killed, stuff that won't work. So if you're new to this and trying to get into it, I'm trying to get you off on the right foot as far as not learning a whole bunch of crap when it comes to survival. Because it's, all that stuff is for fun. Being able to, build a fire, and I love it. There's lots of methods that I use for building fires. And it's not because I consider them survival methods. It's because I figure them to be fun. Like my subscriber said, Fun with Fire. His name is Jason from Canada. Building a fire with flint and steel, that's awesome. I love to do it. Building a fire with a magnifying glass, same thing. One of my favorite ways to do it, because it is so impressive to me to be able to build a fire with the sun rays. That just blows me out of the water every time I do it. So these are all really great ways to enjoy the outdoors and all of that, but I don't consider it a survival tool. Because especially in today's age, 200 years ago, 1,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, 50,000, a million years ago, they were building fires with flint and steel. They were building fires with punk wood. They were building fires with the fungus that grows on white birch trees, hoof fungus, all of that. This stuff has been around. We didn't invent it. It didn't come from us. I was watching a documentary the other day about that Iceman that they found. I forget how many years ago they found him, but he was found with hoof fungus in his little skin bag. He was found with hoof fungus. And hoof fungus is a fire starter. So even back then, they knew about hoof fungus as basically to carry the fire. If you get some hoof fungus off a white birch tree, or the tree that they grow on, you can carry that fire for probably a couple of hours before you got to add it to another hoof fungus. So as far as keeping a coal that you can move from place to place with, they knew about that a million years ago. So it's nothing new here. And that's why I say that back then, that was the way they did it. They didn't have any other ways. Well, nowadays we do. We have man-made things that we can buy for fire starters. But I am so far against buying man-made fire starters that you might as well take a $5 bill out of your wallet and build a fire with it. Because that's how much sense it makes. And this channel is all about common sense. Common sense, common sense, common sense. Out here in the wild, there are so many natural tinders for building a fire, and that's what we're going to cover in this playlist, is and not only cover what they are and where they are, but we're also going to cover how to use them, how to prepare them. A lot of good tinders are not something that you can pick right up off the ground and start using it. Some of the great ones need to be seasoned. And that's some of the stuff I want to cover in this little playlist. I don't have a cutoff date for this, and it's not something that's going to come out every single week. To be honest with you, when I do videos like this, the view count goes down. And so does the watch time. But that's all right. I am building a video like this for that one person or that 10 people that want to learn something. So that's all this is about. But anyways, let's get back to an emergency, a true emergency fire. A true fire. You've fallen out of a canoe. Absolutely everything you own is soaking wet. Or you're lost. There's no, it's 5 o'clock at night and I am so lost that I will never find my way back to the pickup until the next day or even a couple days later. Or here's another one. You've been injured. And now we can't travel 200 yards or 100 yards to gather up what we need for a true emergency fire. Unless you're lugging it in your own backpack, or unless, so what do you do in that situation? Now, I could get out here and walk around and I'm covering some serious ground here, so if you want to just watch stuff in action, there's other channels out there that will take you down that I want to say, let's keep it polite here. A true emergency fire is a fire that's going to save your life. So what I want to find in that situation is a true survival tree that within an arm's length of me, I can gather up. I've got a broken leg or I've got whatever, and in an arm's length, I need shelter. Somewhat of a shelter. I need fire. I need heat. There's a lot of things I'm going to need if I'm going to survive the night. So here in this state, we have a mixed forest. That means that we've got every tree you can imagine outside of, now I don't know what grows in the rest of the world, don't really care. What I do care about is this state. We have cedar, we have pine, we have spruce. Right there's 3 good tinder trees. Pine, cedar, spruce, white birch. Those grow in a lot of areas where you're hunting and where you're fishing. So there's 4 right there. But what are we looking for? In that situation that you are injured, you are looking for a downed spruce tree or a downed pine tree. If you get lucky and there's one right there, well, that's what you want. Now, if you look through the woods 100 feet and you could see one that's down, try to get yourself there. It's worth it. Because once you get to that down spruce tree, you can get under it. But once you get to that down spruce tree, there's going to be sticks. There's probably going to be dry sticks, because anything that's still attached to the tree and off the ground is going to burn well. So as you've seen in this series, I've talked about inner tubes. Inner tubes, inner tubes, inner tubes. Here's an inner tube. Here's a used inner tube. If you were watching my channel for the last few videos, you saw on my tractor, I had a flat tire. When I took the tire in to get it fixed, I said, save me the old inner tube. There is so much that you can do with this inner tube in an outdoorsman's world, a woodsman's world. This to me is the best fire. This is free. That's why I say, why do you want to buy fire starters? This is free. You can go to a tire company and ask them for, they have their junk pile. They'll give you this out of their junk pile, out of their trash tire pile. And the other was that now I got mine from turning in my tire. You can go to the dump, you can do the same thing, look through their tire pile. You're probably going to find an inner tube there as well. Here in the state of Maine you will anyways. But these are easy to come by, doesn't have to be a big one. You can even go to a bicycle shop and either purchase an inner tube. You can go to Tractor Supply, these things are cheap. You can buy a cheap lawnmower one at Tractor Supply for probably $5 or $6. Why is this such a good fire starter? It's because it will burn soaking wet. You can fall out of a canoe. You can keep a little, I cut them into 1-inch pieces, 1 inch by 1 inch. And then I put some in my pocket. I put some in my tackle box. I put some in my fire bag. I have little pieces of inner tube in everything that I'm using when it comes to the outdoors. My six-wheeler, my boats, my everything. Because this is and it won't spoil. You don't have to keep it in a container. You don't have to do anything to this. Why I say to pocket. If you put a half a dozen of these flat 1-inch squares in your pocket, you have a minimum of 6 fires. Minimum. So getting back to if you broke your leg and you got damage that way, if you can get to that blowdown or you can get to that pile of brush, you've got your fire starter in your pocket. A 1-inch square of this. Now you're going to need to light it with a lighter. But how many hunters and fishermen nowadays, in truth, don't carry a lighter or a book of matches or a box of matches or wooden matches? That's the true survival fire. I don't care how many videos are out there on YouTube about building a survival fire. A true survival fire is one that you can light immediately without having to chase anything down, because you are lost, you're cold, you're soaking wet. The list goes on and on to what could have happened to you in the great outdoors that day. The last thing you need to be chasing down is a fire starter. And getting back to, and the other thing is, why do you want to buy a fancy fire starter when you can get how many fires are in this? How many fires are in this if you cut the entire inner tube up into 1-inch squares? And it's for free. That falls under common sense. Why buy it? Why lug it? Why everything when you can bring a few pieces of this and build a fire anywhere? And like I said, this has many. In my world, inner tubes have a lot of. Now this one's a small one, but you can get a bigger one. And if you cut 2 inches across, straight down, now you've got a scope cover for your rifle. I don't buy scope covers. I put on a piece of that. It's just like a big old elastic, and you've got a scope cover that fits in your pocket. You don't need a scope cover on a sunny day, so you stick that in your pocket. Now you got a scope cover for your scope and your rifle, or you've got a fire starter. So it's covering 2 bases right there on your survival. You know, it's a survival tool, and it's also a tool for your rifle. So, I mean, you know, another one of them things. A country boy will survive, and common sense. The other thing that you use this for, and again, you could use it for your scope cover, or what about if you'd made into a slingshot like you'd make for your boys or your grandkids? A piece of this would make a heck of a slingshot. Well, hey, maybe you lost your rifle. Maybe you need something. A minute ago when I was sitting here having my coffee, a turkey walked by. Well, what if that was a small partridge or a rabbit? Sometimes rabbits, when there's no snow and they're white, our rabbits up here in the winter are white, but if it's brown ground, they'll just sit still because they know they stick out. And sometimes you can almost walk up to them and kick them before they'll run. That might be a perfect spot for a slingshot. Maybe there's a meal sitting there if you had a little of this in your pocket and you was in a survival situation. So there's 3 things this fire starter will cover, and it's absolutely free. Absolutely free. A country boy will survive. A woodsman will survive, because this is the kind of stuff that we go after. If you own a cabin, now you can use this inner tube. And this is old school, goes way back to every farmer, probably in the state of Maine 100 years ago. Now that's probably stretching it. But an inner tube, you can cut a big square out of, and then you can screw it like you got a padlock on a shed door. On me, it's my fish houses. I have padlocks on my fish houses. You can screw a piece of this over the top of that padlock, and that keeps the rain off it. It keeps the snow off it, and in return, it keeps it from freezing up in the wintertime. So now here's 4 uses for the woodsman out of 1 free inner tube from the dump or from a repair job of yours. 4 free pieces of equipment out of 1 inner tube. So hey, this is part of the Fun with Fire series. I hope you got something out of this and realize why I think so many of them other things about survival fires are so ridiculous when it comes to real life reality of true danger if you're in that situation. A snowmobile can get you a long ways back in the backcountry in a very short period of time. And if that snowmobile breaks down, you're going to want something that will build you a fire for the night. Because if it's below 0, you are definitely going to want a fire. So we'll go on more in this playlist later on. This video's probably got long enough. Have a last cup of coffee with me, and I will see you in the next video.